Crew skills are one of the biggest aspects within World of Tanks. The difference between a highly skilled crew and an unskilled crew can be absolutely massive, and can easily make the difference between victory and defeat. But of course, there are a lot of skills, and many new players do not fully understand how all of the different crew skills work. Today, I am here to explain all of that. I'm going to be describing all of the crew skills and perks within the game and whether or not they are any good. So get ready for another episode of the Tank Academy. This video will be divided between skills that any crew member can take, and the different skills that are exclusive to any of the 5 unique crew positions. The first set of skills are universal skills. These skills can be learned by all crew members, and their effects are magnified by how many crew members have said skills. The first of these skills is repairs. The higher the skill level of repairs, the quicker your destroyed modules will be repaired. This is incredibly useful, mainly for repairing your tracks as quickly as possible if you do not have a repair kit available. The second universal skill is concealment. This skill increases your camo rating. This skill is quite useful for any tank that is not an assault vehicle, especially for tanks that do not have much armor. The third universal skill is firefighting. This skill is largely overlooked by the player base. It makes it so that if you do not have an active fire extinguisher, then anytime you are set on fire, the fire does less damage and doesn't last as long. The main reason this skill is overlooked is because a lot of people use fire extinguishers in their tanks, so this skill is only really useful if you are either running food, gas, etc. instead of a fire extinguisher. The final universal skill is Brothers in Arms. This skill is a bit different from the other universal skills. It only comes into effect when every crew member in the vehicle has the skill trained to 100%. Brothers in Arms makes it so your tank's effective statistics are slightly better, about 2.5% better. This may not seem like a big difference, but in-game it makes a huge impact on the effectiveness of your vehicle. Everything about your tank being just a little bit better really adds up to a massive bonus. The next set of skills are commander skills. These are skills that only the commander can learn. The first of these skills is Mentor. This skill just makes it so all other crew members get more experience per battle. This skill can be useful, but it gets overshadowed by other commander skills. The second commander skill is actually the most recent skill added to World of Tanks. It is sound detection. This skill gives you a little indicator whenever artillery has fired at you. The problem with sound detection is that you don't really have much time to get out of the way, so it is less a warning and more of an omen of impending doom. The third commander skill is Recon. This skill increases your tank's view range. This is an incredibly useful skill, and I would say it is the second best skill that the commander can learn. The fourth skill is Jack of all trades. This skill makes it so that when a crew member gets injured, the penalty to your tank is diminished. This skill is a skill that I have never actually taken in any of my tanks. It just gets overshadowed by all of the other commander skills. The fifth commander skill is Eagle Eye. This skill allows you to identify what modules on your enemy are damaged or destroyed. This skill can be kinda cool just for knowing what has been destroyed, but it's not very useful practically. You don't really have much to do with the information of what's damaged and destroyed on the enemy tanks. The final commander skill is Sixth Sense. This skill is the most important skill in the entire game. It allows you to have known when you have been spotted by the enemy. This is absolutely huge for knowing if you are safe to move out of a position, whether or not you need to get the fuck out of where you currently are, and so much more. It truly is a massively useful skill. The next set of skills we will be discussing are gunner skills. These skills are exclusive to gunners in regards to training. The first of these skills is Designated Target. This skill makes it so tanks you spot stay spotted for an extra 2 seconds after they can no longer be seen, for a total of 12 seconds. This skill can be useful for light tanks and more scout-oriented mediums, but otherwise is often overlooked. The next skill is Armorer. This skill makes a damaged gun more accurate than normal. The problem is that a damage gun is still super fucking inaccurate regardless of the armor or skill, so this is among the weakest skills in my opinion. The third gunner skill is Deadeye. This skill makes it so you deal more damage to modules, resulting in more critical hits. This skill can be super useful for tanks with large caliber derp guns such as the KV-2 and also for artillery. These types of tanks already deal massive module damage, so Deadeye can really make getting hit by one of these tanks absolutely debilitating. The final gunner skill is Snapshot. This is widely considered to be the most useful gunner skill, but I think it's a bit overrated. Snapshot makes it so your tank has less dispersion when you turn the turret, which on paper seems like a great skill. The problem is that the boost in the accuracy is incredibly small, so you seldom ever get to see a significant difference. Despite the boost to dispersion being quite small, it is still usually the first or second of the gunner skills taken and is quite useful occasionally. The third set of skills are driver skills. The first of these skills is clutch braking. Clutch braking improves your vehicle's traverse speed. This skill is massively useful for tanks without turrets or tanks that have poor base traverse speed. The second skill is smooth ride. In my opinion, this skill is massively overrated. It makes it so your tank is more accurate on the move, but of course you are still wildly inaccurate on the move regardless of the skill, and I think there are better options within the driver skill. The third driver skill is off-road driving. This skill reduces the effect of the ground resistances of your tank that were discussed in the tank statistics episode of Tank Academy. This is most useful whenever you are in swampy terrain such as the dip in Live Oaks or the valley in Lakeville. The final driver skill is controlled impact. I love this skill, and I think it is criminally underrated. It makes it so you deal more damage and take less damage whenever you ram an enemy tank, which can lead to some crazy scenarios, such as
speed by 10 kilometers an hour to 40, you put a turbo on it to max it out at 44, it weighs 90 tons, you take controlled impact on your driver, and you have a Patriot in front of you. Yeah, that's 1,300 damage with a shot and a ram.
The fourth set of skills are radio operator skills. These skills are exclusive to the radio operator. The first of these skills is signal boosting. This skill fucking sucks. All it does is make you have more radio range, but of course that doesn't matter when everyone already has 700 meters radio range as baseline. Never take this skill. Ever. The second skill is situational awareness. This skill is actually useful, and is usually the best of the radio operator skills. It operates in the exact same way as recon does for commanders. It increases your view range. The third skill is relaying. I honestly don't even know what this skill does. All I know is that it is just as shitty as signal boosting, and just don't take it. The final radio operator skill is Call for Vengeance. This skill allows you to relay tank location to your allies for a few seconds after you die. It is sort of like the designated target skill meets martyrdom from Call of Duty, a thoroughly mediocre skill. The final set of skills are loader skills. There are only 3 skills within this category. The first of these skills is safe stowage. This skill makes your ammo rack more durable, leading to less explosions. This used to be the best loader skill, but in a recent update it was overshadowed by our next skill, Intuition. This skill now makes it so switching between shell types takes less time than a normal reload. This is massively useful, especially for autoloaders which have very long base reloads. The final loader skill is Adrenaline Rush. This skill makes it when you have less than 10% health remaining, you get a small DPM boost. This skill is useful during the occasion that you are on extremely low HP, but unless you are either incredibly well armored or incredibly sneaky, you usually only get a shot or 2 off before you die if you have such a low HP anyway. So this skill is rarely a game changer, but it can still be nice to have. Crew skills are a very important part of World of Tanks, but to new players it might not make much sense, and they might not know which skills are good and which skills are bad. This video was meant to try to clear some of that up, to show what each skill does and whether or not they are any good. So yeah, that's about it. I'm Unbearable. I'll see you next time. If you enjoyed this video, please consider checking out my other videos. If you didn't enjoy this video, then cut my head off with a battle axe, dude, I don't know.